Okay, so this one is going to be about problems I've dealt with, since detransitioning. I've got a list here, so I will, use this as kind of my guidelines, just so my videos can be more structured. Okay, so the first thing on the list, and I think this one is right now is my biggest issue. The other ones were like for instance, the legal name change. That was a big issue, but that was more so towards the beginning of my detransition when my name was still legally Damon. But right now, my biggest issue is doctors. Just because like right now I'm trying to my cycles have been like really irregular. Like 40 days, more than 40 days long. 44 days, 45 days, and my current one. I mean, I haven't even had my period yet, so that's a big issue for me. And obviously, I need to see a doctor and hopefully get that taken care of. I don't know what they can do for that. I'm not going on birth control. That seems to be like a one size fits all cure for like everything, like heavy periods, birth control, cramps, birth control, irregular periods, birth control. And I just don't like that because birth control comes with its own side effects and stuff, and I think it suppresses your hormones. Um, yeah, that's one issue. And my issues with doctors is one, their lack of knowledge in detransition stuff. They don't really seem to know what to do with me. Two, they seem to see my detransition as another type of transition, or I've had doctors suggest that I'm bigender, gender fluid, non-binary, therapists too. I'm seeing a really good therapist now, but I've had therapists in the past before I got this and the previous therapist from Gen Spect. They're really good, so far. But therapists in the past have also suggested that I might be non-binary or something like that, so that's another issue. And just them being overly affirming and kind of superficial, like, I'll tell them, I don't know, like, I'll tell them I'm detransitioning, they'll say, yeah, that's great, but then the times where I've had back and forth mentally and then decided to, like, I've had relapses on T and short periods of time where I've decided to re-identify as a trans man, well, as a man, as I put it. I'll go to the doctor because, I'm thinking I'm gonna get on testosterone, and I did. And they'll be, and they'll be like, they'll be fully affirming of that, not questioning the fact that I've gone back and forth like many times, like not asking, why are you changing your mind so much? They just like completely affirm it. The only issue I've run into is like my primary care physician, she refers me to someone else, but she's still overly affirming. She's not questioning why I'm wanting to go on testosterone and then why I'm going off of it and then why I'm going back on it. Like, you think that would be something they would be concerned about. Um, yeah, I've been like, I don't know. Right now, I'm 6 months off T, but before I was on T for like a week. And then before that, like a couple months before that, I was on T for 3 weeks, and that was because of the back and forth. Mentally, I was having a really hard time with detransition, specifically with being seen as a man, even though I'm a woman. Really hard time with the leftover effects of tea and, deep voice, making it hard for me to pass as a woman. Just it's really hard for me to move on as a woman if my voice is low or I have these leftover effects. And that makes me think that, okay, well, then I would be better just living my life as a trans man than and being, because I'm already seen as a guy. Like, it would be better to do that than to try to live as a woman who's only, who's not seen as a woman, and because, it's really complicated. Like, what bathroom do I use? If people see me as a guy, I'm not gonna use the women's bathroom, like, then swimming, what do I wear to swim? Changing rooms, like, stuff like that. Obviously, I have to wear a top because I didn't get top surgery, so I have to wear something to cover my chest. But it makes life really complicated when I'm a woman that doesn't pass as a woman. So it does kind of complicate things. Going on trips longer than a day is a nightmare because then every time you have to stop at like a gas station or something to use the bathroom, then like public bathrooms cause me a lot of anxiety because of that. Okay, now getting back on topic, I kind of strayed off a little bit there. So the next one is family and friends. Another like problem I've run into. Although this one is much better now, but it was a problem at the beginning of my detransition. I was very anxious about telling my family, um, that I am no longer Damon, and I didn't even like with my extended family and say Oma. I didn't even like really say I'm detransitioning. I just said I want to go by Tanya again. Like I didn't. I was very. I don't know. I think it also contributes to the fact that like on media I had seen that detransitioners get a lot of hate, and I know that my family, especially my extended family, is very liberal. So I was just afraid of, like, if I told them I'm detransitioning and I regret my transition, I was afraid that they would think I was like transphobic or something. Especially if they, like further asked me about it. But that is not what happened, and it's not really like my extended family is like, um, uh, I mean, it is like certain people in my extended family, but it's not the entire family. Like most of them are very chill. It's just I don't know. I was just worried about some things because the trans stuff seems to be a big thing now, especially now with like all those laws going into place, and I'm just trying to move on with my life. So I don't want to be seen as like something bad. But I don't know. It is what it is. So yeah, so telling my family, I didn't have a hard time telling dad. Telling Omo was okay. In the beginning, she was like, you were growing up to be such a nice young man, and that really got to me because I mean, I guess I was technically like, I was growing up as a young man. I spent middle school, high school growing up as a guy, and I guess that's why she said that. And suddenly now I'm changing my whole identity back to being a woman, and um, so I think she was disappointed. Dad, he just went right along with it. I think he was happy because he did not want me going on testosterone. The doctors convinced him to let me go by saying that if he did not let me start testosterone, because I was like 13 when I started T, so I had to get his consent because he's my parent. They told him that if he didn't let me, I would most likely, I was at a higher chance of committing suicide, and that kind of what convinced him. Although he was completely against surgery, he was okay with social transition, like me wearing what I want to wear, and the name thing, he went along with that. But the hormone stuff, he was not happy with. He was concerned about what it would do to me and stuff like that, and rightfully so. Like the I can't even go into all of it. I'll save that to another video, like the more physical sides of transition and then detransition. So yeah, that's basically the family bit of it. Now with friends, I don't have many friends right now, like real life in person friends. Most of my friends are online. My concern was mainly, okay, so one, I'm in a community college, and even though I'm not attending the classes in person right now, I was. And my concern was that I would run into some old friends who only knew me as a guy. Like in high school, I did not tell anyone I was trans. Middle school, they knew because that's when I was just starting to change everything, and I was actually getting the support of classmates. But in high school, no one knew, and at my community college, there was like I did spot like one or two people from my high school that I knew, and that like kind of freaked me out because I was like, okay, like what if I'm with a new friend that I tell my name is Tanya, and then this guy comes up and he's like, hey Damon, like that's gonna be really confusing, and one, I'm gonna have to explain to the new friend because I'm trying to assert myself as being Tanya, I'm trying to live as a woman again, and then but then this guy doesn't know, so it's like I have to explain to him now that I'm not actually Damon. Then I have to explain to my new friend. And yeah, with friends, then it was also with like new people, Just I guess I still feel like I look like a guy and I sound like a guy, so I worry about them not believing that I'm actually a woman. Like I worry that they'll think I'm a trans woman that's like not trying very hard to look like a woman because like the way I just dress and my hair is like really short. Even though I've been told that I look like a woman, I don't really believe it. But yeah, I don't know. So yeah, that's with family and friends. Okay, so the next thing on the list of detransition problems is the legal name change and gender marker change. Okay, so the legal gender marker change was not hard at all. In Illinois, all you do is you go to the DMV, you fill out a form, and you give it to them. You don't need a doctor's note. I forgot if I did the first time around. It might have been more involved, but this time around it was super easy, so that was like not a problem. I do remember when I went to the DMV with that though. One of the staff there, she must have thought I was transitioning to a woman because she was like, "Oh, this is really exciting for you. We should celebrate." And this was like the person at the door who asked you like, "Why are you going to the DMV to like kind of." I don't know, like I forgot what exactly her job was, but I think she was just like the first person you see. This was during the pandemic too, so everyone was standing in line outside of the DMV. And yeah, she was just like really excited. And then when I was walking in, she goes up to me, like right up to my ear, and she's like, like my child's transgender too. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's nice. So I was just, it's like moments like those that are like kind of cringy for me because I don't know. Like she was happy for me, and that's like great and all, but the situation was not what she thought it was. So yeah. Now the legal name change, that was a nightmare. That took forever. I had to contact the transgender, it's called Chicago House or something like that. I had to contact them again. They had like a group of lawyers or whatever that could help you either for free or for reduced costs at like getting like legal stuff, like legal changes, like for your social transition, like legally changing your name. And they had helped me change my name legally to Damon, and then I went to them to help them change it back to Tanya, and they actually didn't question me at all. Like even though I told them like, I've used your services before, I didn't like say it as like I'm detransitioning. I just said it as I identify as a woman now and I'm changing my name to Tanya. So they might have just, I don't know, maybe they thought I was bi gender, or maybe they knew, I don't know. But they didn't ask me about it. It was just completely about business with them. Although I did have to pay, so I did not get any free. Like it was not a free service for me. And it took forever. But I was lucky since it was during the pandemic. I did not have to go to the court place in person. It was all online, but I was still like anything with court stuff scares me. Like anything very like with a judge and stuff like that. Legal stuff is just kind of intimidating. But I mean, like it didn't like the judge didn't even like. I was like in the waiting Zoom room or whatever. It's like a screen like waiting room or whatever, and funny when I came in, the judge just asked me like, I guess they had talked to the lawyer beforehand. They just asked me like, to make sure the spelling of the name, my birth name was correct, and then they just said, okay, yeah, and they just said, yeah, okay, they signed it and stuff like that. So that was good. I think the hardest thing about that was the anxiety around it, and I did feel a little bit of shame. With like now I'm gonna have to go back. What if the judge questions me like why are you changing your name and all this other stuff? But that did not happen. As usual, I overthought about it. Okay. The next thing on the list of problems I've run into are yes, self acceptance in spite of persistent dysphoria, finding healthy coping methods. Okay, so this one's more like the mental and emotional aspect of detransition. Like, yes, the medical and physical aspect is a big deal, and the physical aspect does affect the mental. Like, coming off of testosterone, has like my body does change, like distribution, like chest growth. I did not get top surgery, so not that my chest has changed that much, and I'm not really gonna get like into detail or anything, but just having to deal with like my body going back to a more uh female body shape that's more normal for women to have, because men and women are shaped a little differently, and having to deal with like skin changes. I barely grow hair on my arms. And I think that was the thing even during transition. I do grow hair on my legs, but I do think it is less like dark, the actual hair. It's like it's not like and it's less like thick or something. I'm not sure. Um and I mean, I shave my legs though. I don't know why I do that. I just do it. I don't even have to shave my arms. So like, but like the facial hair I do have to shave. And I think the facial hair has come in less. Um so going back to like the mental effects, I think the biggest thing for me again is like with the whole trying to navigate the world as a woman. I didn't exactly get the growing up experience as a woman. Like I grew up as a guy. Like yes, I'm physically a woman, and yes, back then I was physically a girl. Before I became a woman, because girls like before you're an adult. But so yes, maybe physically, but mentally, I was very much in the mindset of I'm a guy, even though I just considered myself like a different type of guy. But I still saw myself as a guy, and it's very different from like my female peers at that age. Like I did not see myself as one of them. I saw myself as one of the guys. So that was one thing. And then so yeah, just like having to navigate the world now that I don't pass as a woman right now, like with my family, that they're pretty good at calling me Tanya and stuff like that now, at least, like, but when I'm out in public, it's all like sir, Mr. Young man. Um, Man, I've had times like even at like my college. And I remember my sister was with me. I had to go ask some staff members about something, and my sister was with me, and she kept correcting them, like saying, she's my sister, and they kept calling me he even after she corrected them. So I don't know what that was about. I guess I just like they just saw me as a guy, or like they were ignoring her because she was like repeatedly trying to like correct them or something. I don't know. So I don't know. It's just like dealing with the fact that people still see me as a guy and feeling like I'm still having to navigate the world as a guy even though I'm a woman. So like I feel like sometimes I even like say like I feel like I'm still like not forced, but like I'm forced to be socially trans because people see me as a guy. So it's kind of, I don't know, and it affects the way I see myself. Um, I don't know. I just like really care about how others see me, which is an issue. I know I need to improve that. Another like mental emotional issue is just like body changes, which I did go over, navigating the world um as a woman that doesn't pass as a woman. And then I also have like the sexuality stuff. When I was trans, I saw myself as a straight guy. But now that I am detrans, I guess that technically makes me a lesbian. I don't really like the word lesbian because I associate it with femininity. I like gay better, even though people would say gay, guys call themselves gay if they're like attracted to other guys. But I think gay can go for either or. I'm not sure. But for me, it's like I still have this mental complex of me being a guy, but particularly when it comes to like relationships. Like being the provider, being strong, stuff like that, being dominant or whatever. Although I'm not. But I still hold myself up to a lot of the expectations that I felt people had for me when I was a guy. Basically, I haven't like let go of those. It takes a lot of unlearning. So that's one thing, and I don't have an issue with my attraction towards women at all. Like, I don't care. I mean, like, not that I don't care, obviously I care, but like, it doesn't bother me at all. Like, I don't care that I'm not straight. Um, but I care about the fact that, so like, I don't care that I'm attracted to women, but I care about the fact that I'm a woman that's attracted to women. If you like get what I'm saying. Like, that's what I care about. And then, like, I'm masculine, so I don't know. So that's kind of like with that. if you guys want, I'll do another video like getting more into that specifically, but I don't know, that's kind of complicated. Okay, the last thing on our list here is medical problems. Okay, so this one, um, a lot of this is unknown. Mainly what I have is like cramps, and that was mainly like at the beginning of my detransition when when I just like got off of testosterone, my period just started to come back, and this was like when I was like 19. Um, and the periods, like as I said in my first video, the periods were really painful. But that did finally go away. Although I don't know if that meant anything, if there's anything still wrong, even if the cramps have lessened. Like something must have been going on if the cramps were that bad. Um, and then the next thing I have is irregular cycle. Now this might be because I had relapses on T. Because like so after the first relapse, my period did come back. Second relapse, it did come back, but it's now super long. Before it was like 29 to like 34 days long. Like it varied, but it was consistently within that time frame, like for the full cycle length, from the beginning of your period to the last day before the first day of your next period, like that being the cycle. Well, now it's like over 40 days long consistently. Like the last three have been like it was like 44 days and 45 days. I did have one time, and this was before it's been consistently over 40 days, where it was like a week early, and then the flow itself was unusual. I'm not gonna get into this too much because it's kind of like talking about periods. It's like I don't know, but basically my cycles have been irregular, and I'm actually probably should see a doctor about it because I did some Google research, and it says that if your cycles are over 40 days long, it means you're not ovulating, and it's been like that back to back. So now I'm worried, because I like my other thing on the medical problems is like I'm not sure about my fertility. Like, can I still have kids? I don't know. Like, yes, my period is back, but it's really irregular, and so I don't know. And then the other thing is basically I just don't know what else could possibly be going on. Like, what has T done to my brain? What has T done to my bones, immune system? Like, the hormones don't just like affect your reproductive system and then the secondary sexual characteristics. They affect your whole body. So it's like, and there's not a whole lot of research into it. So I just don't know. Like, and I was on T for a while. So and then of course before I got off at 19, it was like over 2,000 pgml. So yeah, I just don't know. So that's kind of like the medical problems is the fact that I don't know, and then that issue going with the doctors is they don't seem to really know either. So I'm not very happy about that, but it is what it is, and I'm still alive, so that's what counts. So I think, yeah, that's basically the list of problems I have for today. And if there's anything else you guys want me to do a video on, just let me know. I think I'm gonna do my next video on like dysphoria and my experience of it, and the fact that it is still a very consistent problem. Just because I detransitioned does not mean that magically the dysphoria went away or something like that. It did not. I still deal with it. It's a very prevalent issue. Dysphoria also. I also have reverse dysphoria. Dysphoria caused by T, and I have dysphoria about. I don't know. It's like super confusing. I have dysphoria about wanting to be masculine, but I'm also dysphoric about my deep voice. It's like very confusing. Like my mind can't make up its mind of what I want or how I feel about myself. I don't know. So, but it is what it is. So yeah, that would be my next video. And just like give me comments about this one. I hope this one was a little more structured. I did write out a list, so I had an idea of what to talk about. Just so it's not like, I don't know. I'm not great at like, I don't know, holding a conversation if I don't have a little bit of structure. And also, it's like just me talking to a camera, so there's that. I don't have feedback while I'm talking. Like people, someone asking me questions, so then I can think about that question and then respond. It's like I'm having to like come up with more things, but I mean, it's fun, and I just felt like it was important to do these videos. just to share my side of the experience. Like, obviously, there's other detransitioners, and then, like, I just think it's important to get different perspectives out there, but, different perspectives on what it's like to detransition and be a detransitioner, and just basically share my experience, but then also, like, a different perspective on the whole transition, like the current affirmation only narrative. So obviously I'm not gonna try to get like political on all that, but like I'm just hoping like that my experience, might be useful to other people, say someone who's questioning whether they want to transition, or someone who's questioning whether they want to detransition, or someone who is detransitioning and, like doesn't want to feel alone, or like stuff like that. So that's kind of just, why I'm making these videos. Okay guys, well, it's actually kind of late and I need to go to bed. But good night, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Okay, bye bye.